Thanks, guys. Landon Haaf here, as you said, at the Daniel Meyer Coliseum, joined by Alex Apple, talking a little bit of hoops today. Alex, rocky start for both the men and women's program here in the Big 12. Talk about how the men's team has fallen short this season in its first year in the conference.
Yeah, to say it's been a little bit of a rocky start for the men's team would be a little bit of an understatement. It's been a tough road for them this season. I think the biggest problem for them has been inability to put together a good 40 minutes of basketball on a consistent basis. In the Big 12, you've got to play well night in and night out to consistently get wins, and they simply haven't done that. For one game that they were able to put together a good offensive game with a good defensive game was the Kansas game here at Daniel Meyer Coliseum, and you saw the outcome there. But when you have an undermanned team, it's going to require a little bit more consistency on both ends of the floor than they've shown so far this year, and thus their struggles.
Shooting the basketball more consistently would help an offense complement a defense that's actually performed pretty well in the Big 12, comparatively speaking. Now, on the women's side, we've seen a little bit of a different struggle. They actually took longer to get their first Big 12 win than did the men, starting out 0-11. What I think we've seen with them is a young team, an inexperienced team that's had trouble coming out of the gate in the second half and had an inability to close off big teams in the Big 12.
Yeah, you're exactly right. They're a young team that's had to take their lumps a little bit this season. You talk about coming out of the gate in the second half. The big example there, they had a 22-point halftime lead against Kansas here in Daniel Meyer Coliseum. Ended up losing that lead and losing by one, all coming out of the gate slow in the second half. That led to their struggles, and it was hard to get that edge back. I think one of the things that you've seen with this women's team is they've started to play better as they've started to get more comfortable over the last 2 weeks. The young team has started to look like a team that's starting to take multiple steps forward and get momentum at the right time heading into the conference tournament. Head coach Jeff Mittie let us go behind the scenes and get a look at how he prepares his team to face a ranked opponent this past weekend.
Coach Jeff Mittie is never shy to show his passion or fire on the sidelines. But what you see on the sidelines is not the only way Mittie prepares his team for victory.
Ball screen here, kick, but the main thing they hurt us with last time was the duck in.
I put faith in my coaches, and I know what they're telling me is like the right thing. He kept telling us every day in practice, every single day, to come in with effort and to forget about the score.
We said we were going to finish improving our basketball team and continue to push ourselves to do that.
And play with effort and more effort, and that's what we did. And that's why we were able to win this last game.
That mindset has gotten the team ready to take down two ranked opponents.
The last time Oklahoma State came in here was 23. This team comes in here 23rd ranked today. All right, it's a great opportunity. Let's leave it on the floor today. All right, let's go.
Pressure on the court is not the only type they're prepared to handle. Starting with Whitney Williams' national anthem and ending with two clutch free throws from Kami Cole, senior night was a high point for the Frogs. Passing on his passion to his players, Mittie has his team peaking at the right time, heading on to the conference tournament.
Jeff Mittie's Horned Frogs get the big win over Iowa State on senior night, sending out their seniors Delisa Gross and Whitney Williams in the right way. One of the groups that's really been trending up lately with the women's basketball team has been the play of the freshmen, Zaina Medley, Kami Cole, Veja Hamilton. Mittie starts 3 freshmen this year, and they've elevated their game in the last few weeks to really help the Frogs get the wins against ranked opponents. Even sophomore Natalie Ventress, who seems like an experienced veteran on the team by comparison, has really elevated her game, and that's why they've been able to knock off the likes of Oklahoma State and Iowa State. Landon, talk to us a little bit about one area or one player that you feel like's been trending up on the men's team and maybe a bright spot heading into the conference tournament.
You know, I think it's kind of the same thing. One of their younger players I think has been a diamond in the rough is Devontae Abram. Kind of quiet performances at the beginning of the season, didn't see a whole lot out of him, but under the tutelage of Coach Trent Johnson and Brent Scott, we've seen him develop his skills and really become a force inside. Highlight performance with a career high 18 points against Kansas despite the loss, and grabbed 9 rebounds and followed it up with a couple other strong performances. So in a season where there hasn't been a whole lot of wins in the win column, you kind of look toward the future. And Devontae Abram looks like he could be someone to compete with Kavar Shepard down low and add another force in the paint.
Yeah, the men will wrap up their home slate this Saturday here at Daniel Meyer Coliseum against Oklahoma. They'll send out 4 seniors, Nate Butler, Connell Crossland, Garland Green, and Adric McKinney. That game will tip on Saturday, and that's all we've got for you here at Daniel Meyer Coliseum. I'm joined by Landon Haaf. I'm Alex Apple. Andre, back to you in the studio.